Britney Spears' ex-husband has done the unthinkable. Not only has he gone to the press and he is talking trash about her, but he's also using her children and her relationship with her kids against her. Britney has literally put out a statement about this on her Instagram, saying that she's sad to hear that Kevin would go to the media and speak so openly about this. Britney has 2 children with Kevin. They got married back in 2004, but they weren't married long because by November 2006, they were divorced. I do believe there is a reason why Kevin is conveniently speaking out now while Britney's in a messy court battle with her father, but let's go ahead and break down this exclusive interview with Daily Mail. They write that Britney Spears' ex-husband Kevin breaks his decade-long silence to reveal their sons have chosen not to see their mother for months. He also brings up some inappropriate pictures of Britney that she has shared online. I feel like inappropriate is an opinion, like it depends how you feel personally, but you guys know that she has posted some scandalous pictures on Instagram, and he blames that for why her children don't want to see her. But honestly, guys, I don't think you understand how serious this is, because it's not just a throwaway Daily Mail article that Kevin is doing. He has literally invited cameras to come into his home, speak to Britney's children, and it's going to be a TV segment that's going to be airing later this week, which I feel like this is straight up war. I don't know why he would want to do this segment right now in his mansion to try to make it seem like their children are happiest there. You guys already know that we're going to be talking about this TV segment because looking at pictures from it, it looks very intimate. You can see Britney's sons are hanging out in the backyard. They're doing an interview by the pool, so they really did invite them in, and I feel like this is a way to try to show the world that Britney's kids are in the best place possible. The article itself starts off by talking about Britney's life and how she has been in the public eye. She's had motherhood, mental health issues, family breakdowns, and bitter legal battles. This piece is obviously in support of Kevin and trying to humanize him and make him seem like he's some type of victim for being with Britney Spears and being forced into the public view, but that's exactly what he wanted, and I think it is insane that he is using his children now against Britney. He was quoted saying, "The boys have decided they are not going to see her right now. It's been a few months since they've seen her. They've made the decision not to go to her wedding." I don't know why he needs to bring up the wedding or really speak for his children, but if you look at this photo that Britney shared on Instagram, this may be the last time she has seen her sons, which would have been back in March of 2021. I also think it's interesting that Kevin mentions that the boys told him and his producer. I don't know what his producer has anything to do with this, but they claim they've decided not to see their mother for months now, and it's not just Kevin hearing this, it's also his producer. Again, I don't know why we're mentioning his producer. It's not like Kevin's really doing any work anyways, because he's making a lot of money through this custody agreement. Like, I believe at some point like $20,000 a month. So he doesn't even have to work. I don't know why he has a producer in the first place. They really go on to try to make Britney look like the bad guy. There have been numerous parenting challenges throughout the ongoing Britney saga. Following her release from the conservatorship last year, the 40-year-old star has remained at the center of global attention and has been taking inappropriate pictures online. And I guess at this point, Kevin feels like he needs to apologize for these actions done by Britney. He's going to his sons and apologizing for Britney's behavior, which just sounds a little bit backwards. Personally, I understand why some people are a little thrown off by the photos. Sometimes I'm thrown off by them too, but at the end of the day, we need to look at her human rights, her legal rights, and then separate those from, inappropriate pictures posted online on an account that she very well does not control. But Kevin claims that the boys do love their mother. He was quoted saying, "I tried to explain to them, look, maybe that's just another way she tries to express herself, but that doesn't take away from the fact of what it does to them. It's tough," he adds. "I can't imagine how it feels to be a teenager having to go to high school." Really trying to make Britney look like a villain here. This part is really full of crap too. While he and the boys show nothing but compassion to Britney, Kevin says he's speaking out about his estranged former wife, not for retribution, but to show his side of the show business story. Like I said earlier, I feel feel like this is total BS, because why does Kevin Federline need to share his side of the story when Britney has gone through so much and really hasn't shared her side yet? He says, "There were a lot of things going on that I did not feel comfortable with." He explains that in recent months, in the wake of increasingly erotic posts by Britney on Instagram, as well as taking these inappropriate pictures of her body, plus launching public attacks on social media on him and members of her family, the boys have now decided that they want to stay away from their mother. Maybe that is true, which it's unfortunate if it is, because we really don't even know who's controlling what at this point. Even though she's free, she's under an extreme, intense care plan. So what does the care plan include? But Kevin was quoted saying, "They tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, I can tell that sometimes it hurts to be in that position. So I make sure all my kids come at me at any moment to discuss anything. The boys and all of my kids know that they can come to me and my wife to talk about anything." Which, good, that's a normal relationship. I mean, you would hope that they can go and talk to their parents about these issues, especially being in a position where your mother is a superstar who has had her human rights taken away and we've tried to restore them. But again, even though she is legally free, I am concerned about this care plan. And supposedly all of these inappropriate pictures that Kevin keeps talking about are the reason why Britney's children did not go to her wedding, which seems really like dramatic for, I guess, the kids not to go to the wedding. I mean, I can't imagine how they're feeling, so I don't want to dismiss their feelings, but it just seems like that's really the reason. He said the boys were happy for her, but they decided that they're not seeing her right now. They made the decision not to go to her wedding. Not only is this interview a hit piece against Britney and going to be televised like everywhere, but it's also a moment for Kevin to look like the good guy and to prop up his wife. If you guys did not know, Kevin has been married to a woman named Victoria. She is a former volleyball player and they've been together for 9 years. I want to briefly share a few screenshots I took from this thread called Britney Times Maria, because they actually shared some posts and some times where Victoria was kind of trolling Britney online. Like, for instance, Britney made a post about how her mother profited off of her in a tell-all memoir, and then an hour later, Kevin's wife, Victoria, posted this on her Instagram story. "Sad how some people believe their own lies and the stories they make up in their head." I've also read that she supposedly acts like Britney's kids are her kids, like she has taken ownership of them and it's like kind of crossed a boundary. Of course, we don't really know those details, but I do know that she doesn't pay her rent. So if you guys want a little story about this situation, she has actually, I believe, been arrested because she did not pay her rent in her Beverly Hills home. That's why it's important, guys, to live below your means, because these people out here in Hollywood, these celebrities, can barely afford their life half the time. This part of the interview seems like a major FU, because they talk about the endless drama and controversy that Britney is in, and towards the end of this little segment, they say allowing the cameras into their home, so by doing this interview, may now help Britney understand the strain that growing up in the shadow of a global superstardom can bring. So they're trying to show Britney something. So by bringing these cameras into the home, it's to do something to Britney, to, I guess, make her feel some type of way, and to, I guess, shame her for putting them in the shadow of this global superstar, which isn't her fault. Kevin says, "If there was a way, any way, I could possibly say something to just open Britney's eyes, but I haven't found that yet. I feel like if I found that, I'd be on the phone trying to tell her." So he wants to tell Britney something to wake her up, which really sounds like kind of passive aggressive. Like, what is she needing to be woken up from? But Kevin does share a time where I guess Britney was co-parenting with Kevin and it was all going well. A period of relative stability followed the initial period of the conservatorship, and Kevin recalls peaceful co-parenting with his former wife. Yet in recent years, relations between mother and sons have deteriorated. Kevin clearly has no wish to embarrass his former wife. This whole article and this interview is super embarrassing, but acknowledges he became increasingly uncomfortable with what his then younger teenage sons confided they were witnessing during their visits in recent years. Ooh, he declines to go into detail. Wow. Okay, so he doesn't want to embarrass his wife, but he tells the public that he has stopped his children from pretty much going to her home because of things that they have seen. So what is that supposed to make Britney look like, especially when she's dealing with her father in court? I mean, that is pretty freaky to hear about. I wonder what her children would have seen at this home that they would come home and tell their father, and this would ultimately lead to them stopping their visits. Comment below what you guys think about that, because I feel like that line right there is very shady. And then he declines to go into detail. Then if it's so bad that you're going to mention it, then tell us how it really is. And I think at this point you guys understand that this is a hit piece against Britney and a piece to favor Jamie Spears, Britney's father. Kevin Federline believes that Jamie actually saved Britney. And listen to how he feels about this conservatorship. This whole thing has been hard to watch, harder to live through, harder to watch my boys go through than anything else. It has been tough, the most challenging thing I've ever had to do in my life. Well, imagine actually living through it, which I guess he partially is, but not what she's gone through, where she's being drugged with lithium. Before we get back to this article, I have to remind you guys that Kevin Federline literally was part of the conservatorship and the creation of the conservatorship, and ultimately he used this whole custody battle against her the entire time to make her do what the conservatorship team wanted her to do. So there are tons of old court documents to back this up, and there's no way that this piece isn't intended to help Jamie. And I wonder how much Kevin was paid for this. I mean, I hope it was worth it. He does say he questioned why the conservatorship lasted so long, but maintains that Britney's father did everything with best intentions. I saw this man that really cared, and really cares about his family and wanting everything to be okay. When Jamie took over, things got into order. He saved her life. I mean, I don't really know what to think here. Is Jamie the bad guy we've all thought he's been? But at the same time, I mean, Kevin and Jamie aren't best pals. There was an incident where Jamie had a restraining order against him back in November 2019 because Jamie got physical with one of his grandkids, aka Britney's children, and it resulted in the police showing up and him getting a restraining order. But supposedly Kevin is quoted saying that he would absolutely welcome Jamie Spears back into the boys' lives. He says, "I feel bad for him. I feel like he's been put through the ringer." So Kevin's over here sympathizing for Jamie Spears, welcoming him back into Britney's children's life when Britney doesn't really have any relationship with her children. This seems just so backwards, messed up, manipulative. He does share that her children did have a lot of questions about the conservatorship. He said they had a lot of questions about it. I don't know that I can answer all of them for them, but I just tried to explain that your mom needed help, you know, and the people were in play to try to make that happen, to make it better. There is absolutely no reason that Kevin needs to do this story or this interview. There's no story for him to tell. This is really convenient because Britney's father is being deposed within the next week. So we've got that happening, and then we've got the story coming out at the same time. What are people really going to talk about? I'm not entirely sure, but I know that Britney's upset. You guys saw her post on Instagram, and it looks like Asghari is upset as well. This is actually pretty savage what he writes. He says, "The boys are very smart and will be 18 soon to make their own decisions, and may eventually realize the tough part was having a father who hasn't worked much in over 15 years as a role model. Kevin's gravy train will end soon," which probably explains the timing of these hurtful statements. "I don't know him personally, and I have nothing against him aside him choosing to vilify my wife. His character is revealed by approval of the cruel 13-year conservatorship and his loyalty to Jamie Spears." Guys, in my book, Asghari just went up like 20 points. Like, everything he said in that statement, please pause and read it because it is straight up facts, and he's defending Britney, and it sounds very loyal, very real. So this is just like a lot of raw emotion now being played out in the public's eye, and I feel really bad for Britney, but at the same time, I'm glad that she's standing up for herself on Instagram and that Sam's standing up for her as well, because that's what he needs to be doing. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Here's my email if you guys have another video idea for me, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.